Let's see how many takes this takes. The following podcast is brought to you by you, our 5 listeners, and by us. We do this for fun and would love to share it with more people. So please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to start fights in the comments about our terrible taste in anime. Let's see if we can get that algorithm engagement going. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome back to Weebkend, your new favorite anime podcast where we actually talk about anime, unlike some others I could name. But anyway, so it's been a while since our last episode. Yeah, I know, I'm lazy. But it's March, and March Madness is going on. And being weebs, we don't really care about actual sports but we figured that we could do the next best thing. We could have a best girl March Madness bracket.
Like almost a waifu bracket within legal means.
Yes. So it's not quite the same as waifu. It's more like best character that happens to be a girl, whoever we like more. We have a set of criteria that we'll get into later, but I'm here with my boys, Angie.
Yo.
And Caesar.
Yo.
So we have a bracket of 32 characters, and then there will be only one winner, obviously.
There can be only one.
Yes, and I will try not to spoil that in the thumbnail for the video, but we'll see.
It's going to be Megumin.
But before we start, there are a few honorable mentions, mostly because there are a few that didn't quite make the cut that are, pretty popular girls that either one of us hasn't seen in anime or like Jinx from Arcane didn't technically qualify because it's really not anime, even though it's animated. So there's Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Holo from Spice and Wolf, and a few others. I was really surprised that Nobara from Jujutsu Kaisen didn't make the cut, but I think Angie hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I personally have not. Like, I watched, maybe the first 2 episodes, and then I just fell through the cracks. If everyone knows about me, is I generally just kind of don't binge things. It's stuff maybe getting a first impression, and then after a while, just kind of lose interest or move on to the next coming thing. So that's the only reason why I decided. And I feel like everyone always talks about Gojo. So it's like if we were talking about best girl and you put Gojo, then I think,
Yeah, if we did a best guy contest, if anyone wanted to do that, he'd definitely make the list. But
we forgot about the best girl, Haku.
Who?
Naruto.
Oh, yes, of course.
How did you forget?
Yes.
She's prettier than Sakura.
Yeah, you've got Haku and Astolfo and Ferris from ReZero. Caesar's Holy Trinity.
Felix,
Ferris, whatever.
His name was Felix.
I feel like in some translations they do Ferris. That might be why I'm mixing it up.
Either way, still best girl, right? That's
of course.
who's number
All
1, right?
The penis makes it better. I can't remember the one from...
Rukia from Steins Gate?
No, there was one from... I can't remember the anime. They're all dumb. The whole class is dumb.
Oh, so Baka and Test?
Yeah, that one.
I think I started that one, but I never finished it. I don't remember anything.
The boys have a blue collar, the girls have a red collar, and then that one character has a green collar. Because you don't know.
There's the main character of Assassination Classroom.
Mm-hmm. The blue-haired boy.
Yeah, who looks kind of like a girl and dresses in drag at one point.
Anyway.
Number 1, my heart, Toru, didn't make the cut because neither of you have seen Dragon Maid. Then you and I have seen Gushing Over Magical Girls, but Angie has not.
Because I don't have access to High Dive. I've read bits of the manga, but not.
Yeah, I remember sending you the manga when it first started coming up. But I was like, you need to read this, it's hilarious.
And then it was like, oh, there's an anime. And I'm like, yeah, it's on High Dive. No! Don't know.
Yeah. So, sorry, Utena Hiragi or Matcha Beze will not be on this list. But, so, as I said, there are 32 different waifus, or, well, most of them are waifus, some of them are not. So, it's best girl, and the criteria we have are their personality or emotional appeal, which is like, how much they appeal to you as a character, which can be like in a drama or a comedy, just how well they do in their own show. Their character design, how they look. Some characters are like, they're okay characters, but they have such a cool design that's just really striking and memorable. Their development and depth, which is probably the most important. Because, when you're determining the best girl in a show, it's usually like the one who has the best character development you like the most. And then, like, how the character fits into her show. So, like, does she carry the entire thing herself? Or, does she have good chemistry with the rest of the characters? So it'll be a very, like, case by case basis. In true March Madness fashion, you're only as good as your last battle. So, like, one character could easily win one round and then lose another. So there's a little bit of element of surprise there because it's not like, one character is immediately the best and then wins the entire rest of the bracket, because that would be just boring as fuck.
That means gonna win.
There's a good possibility. I'm not going to deny that. Oh, we're also only doing one character per show. Otherwise, One Piece would absolutely dominate this bracket, and that wouldn't be fair.
That's the whole reason why we had to.
I don't
We took some
really
time
think that's
making a
true.
bracket.
I think Bleach has a good female cast. Like, Bleach has a big female cast.
I did actually start watching Bleach, for the record. I like it so far, but I haven't really gotten into it. I do like Rukia, and that's why she's on this bracket. Full disclosure.
Oliver Shank is.
Full disclosure, I am totally biased in all this, and I made all the choices, but the order and the matchups are randomized by a computer, so let's get into the first round. So, the first matchup is Hinata from Naruto versus Seras Victoria from Hellsing. So you've got Naruto's wife and the big titty police girl.
Oh, well, then that just stands big titty police girl all the way. So I would say, Hinata takes some time for me to kind of develop as a character, just because she's like prim, proper, very quiet, very polite.
Yeah, it's like for the first, like, until you get into Shippuden, really, like, her whole character is basically being, like, in love with Naruto.
Yeah. And I feel like Sarah's kind of, right off the bat. I mean, she's a focal character in that series.
Right.
So, I mean, personally for me, I kind of give the point to Seras, but...
Also, Seras' character design, big titty police girl, like, you gotta love it.
Well, yeah. You get a little tomboy in uniform.
And, get that bitch a cannon. Bitches love cannons.
But to be fair, my view on it is not purely just on, like, the Bridge series, which is honestly,
Right, yeah.
like, for me, it's one of the funnier between the original, but she's still a compelling character. Although I would say Hinata and develops over time. You find out her grief. You find out.
I feel they both have about the same amount of screen time in their original works.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Seras is kind of like the focal character in Hellsing. Like, I rewatched it around Halloween last year because that's usually when I watch it. And it's like she's the one kind of going through the change, becoming a vampire, and then she's like thrust into this world of, like, vampires and chaos and violence, and she's kind of like the audience's, like, viewpoint.
And she does try to keep to her humanity.
Yeah.
Even with all these events unfolding in front of her.
Right. I will say, like, there will be some spoilers throughout this, just as we talk through the characters. Most of these shows aren't super new, so, like, and they're pretty well known, so there won't be huge spoilers. But about halfway through Hellsing, when Seras does, like, become a full vampire and, like, drinks blood, and it's very emotional.
The Frenchman.
Yeah. And it's like it's really great development for her character, because not only is it's not like she's giving in, it's more like she's embracing, like, the darkness and power, like, inside her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like just giving in to temptation like a whole bunch of other series do with vampires.
See, as the resident Naruto stan, I have to give it to Hinata because she actually did stuff in her show. So did Seras. But Hinata has a whole filler arc where, yes, it's filler, it's not canon. She actually does something. That's the first time Naruto actually sees her as a woman not just, as Hinata. He doesn't know it's her, but in that filler arc, she learns how to do the 108 trigrams her own way without learning from the main.
I don't know. It's like my memories of Naruto, except for like it's like everything up through I think when Sasuke leaves, like that's all pretty clear in my memory.
The
So
Sasuke
everything,
triple arc.
yeah. And then like everything after that is just like it all kind of blurs together.
Yeah, so
But I do remember her fight versus Neji being really badass. I'll give her that.
Yeah. Well, and then, there's also the fact that she, even knowing her limits, so like when she sacrifices herself to battle pain to protect Naruto, and then, constantly trying to reiterate in believing himself and never giving up. Like,
Believe it.
I'll give her points for that.
because that's where she got it. She got it from Naruto.
Yeah.
But she knows she's not that strong. And she tried to help Neji overcome his bias that he was part of the branch family.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls him brother, even though they're cousins.
Right. I think she's very like empathetic as a character. And
she also has very big titties.
She does.
Shipping it.
Well, I would say as she grows, so to speak.
Right. I mean, like Seras is obviously like oversized, but Hellsing actually did start as a hentai manga. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Of course, we'd know that.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
I know the artist.
Fellow men of culture.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that explains just some of the setup in Hellsing. But I do think like part of the reason I chose Hinata over like Sakura, because I mean Sakura is Sakura. But I think she does have good like character development throughout the course of the series and even into the sequel.
And she actually does stuff in the show.
Yeah,
it's Sakura, but it's
I feel like Sakura like the author just like totally fucked over her character.
Masashi has stated in the past that he just cannot write a female character.
Yeah,
that's his words.
Though I mean, like honestly, my favorite female character in Naruto is Tsunade, obviously, but she doesn't have like enough of like a character to really fit into this to be a best girl. Mm-hmm. So that's why I picked Hinata over her.
And like Hinata has a very pivotal plot point when she's fighting pain and tells Naruto that she loves him. When she, quote unquote, dies, Naruto fucking loses it and goes. He literally just lets the Nine Tails take over, because that's how much rage he had that she died.
Yeah, I mean, like Hinata's a good character. I think overall, though, I still have to vote for Seras.
Same. And again, no hate on Hinata. Like I said, she does develop over time, and she becomes very pivotal. The only thing I would say that I'm excluding from this is like with Baruto, like when her.
We didn't talk about Baruto. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because like you get more personality from her in that, but at the same time.
But then you'd have to watch that shitty show.
I do, but it's also like. It's not the same kind of impact. It's just like she's a homemaker now, and you get to see some slapstick with her being a mom, with raising 2 kids, but she's a little more expressive in that. Now, mind you, I haven't seen too much of it, but I'm trying to exclude that keep it separate from the actual like Naruto series. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Sam on this one and say Seras.
All right, and we have our very first winner. Seras moves over into the next one.
As Naruto stan, Hinata.
I have
3 Naruto tattoos. I have to vote for Hinata.
I mean, fair. I love Naruto a lot. Like it was one of the first like anime that I really got into in middle school. Same with like everyone else you knew back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have not felt the need to like revisit it as an adult.
Fair.
But Hellsing, I rewatch like every year around Halloween just because it's some spooky, violent fun.
And just for the record, we're talking about Hellsing Ultimate.
Yeah,
Hellsing, or the original Hellsing Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since that was 10 or so years ago at this point.
Oh, we're dating ourselves.
Oh my god, I think it's more than 10 years actually. I think the first, because Hellsing Ultimate, like all the OVAs came out like a year after each other because they took so much time and effort and money. But I think the first one came out in like 2008. Yeah, feel old yet?
I had to download that off of LimeWire.
I was considering getting the Blu-ray for the series actually.
I don't even know what LimeWire is.
I know what LimeWire is.
Say the good old days of Napster and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When-
Yeah, give your computer AIDS.
I was saying back in the day when you would watch a clip on YouTube mirrored Chinese subtitles broken in like 75 parts
my
for
God.
one episode.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mega Video.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hadn't even thought about that in forever. Yeah, Mega Video, MP4 upload, Mega Upload,
It's anime.
Putlocker. Putlocker was the best for like movies. Oh my god, the golden age.
I feel my knees
next?
cracking just.
Sorry, all right, we're getting off topic. All right, next we have Milim from that time I got reincarnated as a slime,
It's your.
and you're from Spy Family.
New York.
I mean,
a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
That dresses like.
I know it's gonna be an easy win, but we should talk about her a little bit.
Oh, I was say she's what, a dragon princess?
Yeah, she's a dragon princess. She's got like
Of course, there would be your bias with your dragon love.
no shit. It's like well,
Who made this list? Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah. Well, I mean, there were other girls to choose from, like Shion and Shuna are both Oni girls who I also like. But
I'm surprised you didn't go.
Shion
Juno.
or Shuna. Well, I like Shion better than Shuna.
See, I like the priestess archetype.
Yeah, I do like the priestess archetype. I just feel like Shuna doesn't have like as much of a character, honestly. Like she's just kind of there most of the time.
When she fought the skeleton guy.
That's
like her one thing.
Yeah, that's like her one thing.
It's that, and she's like the mom of the group, and if she gets mad, everyone's just like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. So it's like that's why I didn't pick her. And then Shion is just like another big titty waifu character who's bad at cooking, and she's funny, but like she doesn't have like a ton of character. Versus like Milim has like a tragic backstory, a pretty unique design, and she's really fucking funny. Like she's
a child, you know.
Yeah, she's just a total moron, and I love it.
She's like 300 years old.
Well, yeah, but I meant like her like you know, by nature, her body's like, you know, younger, appears more youthful. She's kind of childish.
Yeah,
that archetype. She's the 300-year-old lowly.
Yeah,
she's not. Well, she's like a teenager
or tween, I guess you could say. Where like, because I wouldn't know if I necessarily like consider it teenager, like, you know, like a 13-year-old, maybe 14-year-old, like you're just getting into your teen.
I don't know. I would say like 16, 17, but I'm also coming from like a real world perspective versus like an anime perspective. Either way, but it's like
because even her design, I don't feel like is very. It's not entirely like.
She's wearing like a bikini, right?
Yeah,
and like a halter top or something.
Yeah. Well, she also has like her battle mode, which is pretty cool.
No, like the armor, dress type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
but it's like she had a pretty like decent in-depth backstory, which was pretty cool, and it like figured in pretty heavily to like a plot point in the show in the second season. But it's just her chemistry with the rest of the cast of being like chaotic neutral or even chaotic good, and just like, you know, causing mass confusion and chaos and being like a whole boatload of fun.
Mm-hmm.
She's literally just chaos incarnate. When she comes into town, messes stuff up.
Yeah,
fuck shit up. We are into the fuck shit up, and then Rimuru's like, "Bruh, why? Why do you do these things?"
But when you get into like, because there's a side series that's more like slice of life, which I don't know if you've seen. It's called Slime Diaries.
That's right. Got that, bruh. That meme I post.
Yeah,
that's where I got that from.
But it's like you see more of her character and the other ones, but it's like she's much more of like a good friend slash like sister kind of character to Rimuru. So it's like I think she is like a solid character, and I like enjoy watching her. But obviously, she's gonna lose to Yor.
Yes.
One of like the 3 actual adults in this list.
Yeah.
There are multiple adults in here.
One of 3.
Anyway, so yeah, Yor from Spy Family is who she's up against in this round.
Oh yeah, absolutely York. For me, it's yours pretty good balance because you've got a
Yours like the actual perfect mom in
Yeah.
anime. She's the only mom in anime I could say, hey, she's a good mom.
because she's like a klutzy civil servant by day, but this completely 180 like deadly assassin at night. Honestly, regardless of which personality, she still has one core value where her family is just important to her.
Yep.
So regardless of the situation. So occasionally you'll see that she lets her deadlier side slip when it comes to her family being in danger.
Especially for Anya.
Especially
Yeah.
for Anya.
Well, yeah, because
Super
Anya can hear her
protective.
thoughts, and
Yeah.
like they always.
But even in general, like
Yeah.
in the few situations where Anya was in trouble, she went Mama Bear.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
When she didn't have to go that hard, she went Mama Bear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get a little bit of her backstory, like in the anime. Obviously, that goes a little bit
Mhm.
deeper in the manga, but like the fact that she went and started on her side hustle as an assassin purely for her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no offense to Milim, but like
Yeah.
yours got a lot more.
She does have more depth, and
Yeah.
like I'll say it, she's just a better character.
Yeah.
She's not. I wouldn't say in the anime it is missing some of the depth that's there in the manga. You do get more of it as the series goes on. Like
Yeah.
she has her own arc on the cruise ship in the second season of the anime, which is really good. Like I remember I was reading that arc in the manga around the time the anime got announced, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good," and then it didn't like make it till the second season. I was like, "Damn it!" Took a while to get there.
Yeah, that's one of those scenes I'm talking about. When she thought she was gonna die, the only thing she thought about was Lloyd and Anya.
Yeah. She's very kind and caring and devoted.
For an assassin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's also just really funny. Like some of her like misunderstandings and just like the way she thinks about like things from an assassin's perspective. Or like her being ridiculously overpowered, like when she like stops a car by kicking it or something.
And it's used for laughs too. Like that's kind of what I enjoy because you get some of these characters that are like assassins that are overtly cynical. You're like, oh my god, like
super
they're just,
edgelord.
yeah, and it gets super annoying. But with her, there's a charm to it where it's like I could do this, but what are the repercussions? My poor daughter. And I enjoyed that. I like it. It's a little bit of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Especially for a nice adult in anime.
Yes.
I will.
I think that's where the writing comes in. Since she's an adult, they can write her as an adult with experiences.
I will say that like part of what bothers me about her is kind of her like being naive over certain things. Like she does have that.
Klutzy.
Or it's like her feelings towards Lloyd. It's like she clearly likes him, but she's too embarrassed to do anything unless she's drunk. And it's just like, and she does have that like, she does have that like anime trope of like takes one sip of alcohol and just becomes like, totally intoxicated.
No, that's not fair. When she was at the bar, she downed like 2 straight cups in one go.
Okay.
Like that's gonna mess anybody up regardless.
I will come to her defense for that though, because there are some people that are genuinely, and it's usually more common with those of like Asian ancestry.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
But in allergic reactions to alcohol. So
okay, fair.
And I remember being told about this from friends who are like at least of Japanese or Korean descent, and they're like, yeah, no, you have a little bit, it goes to you real quick.
Yeah, Kevin's cousin's like that.
My fiance is also a bit of a lightweight, so I'll give that a little bit of a pass. I will say she also follows the trope of an anime girl being absolutely horrible at cooking.
Oh yeah.
I will say though that she pulls it off better than most. Like in a lot of shows, it's just kind of annoying, but when she does it, it's legitimately funny.
Yeah,
like when the dog Bond like has a vision that he's gonna die if he eats her cooking. Like that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And her brother is just like, I'll eat whatever you make, even though he almost dies every single time.
Yeah.
Like it's the joke.
But because he doesn't tell her that it's not good, she doesn't really try to improve on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's not until Lloyd and Anya kind of come into the picture where she's like, oh.
She wanted to try. She actually went to learn to cook.
So, which, again, that's endearing. Like, especially for an adult character that's supposed to be, moonlighting as an assassin.
Right.
Who kills people.
I will also say that I love her assassin character design. Like, it looks great.
Oh, yeah. I'll agree with you on that one. Just the fact that it's a simple black dress, you can still move in it, though.
But like the Thorn Princess, and you've got like all her needles and the hair and her earrings.
Hairpins that are also like a weapon.
Yeah.
I like why she says it in the anime why she chose that dress. It's because black hides blood better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a funny,
But
you want to know why I'm wearing red? It's because it's so enemies can't see me bleed.
Same thing with black, though.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's just a quote from Deadpool.
I know. But, just to go back to that, yes, the design, even in her simple, like, civilian design, it's still, like, I think, modest and cute.
She has a very unique hairstyle.
Yeah.
Even though to us it looks like just normal hair, the author showed how she does her hair and people just copy it nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, I think overall, just in general in Spy Family, the characters' designs are really strong. Like, Anya's is really simple, but really memorable and cute.
Yeah.
And then Lloyd's looks very, like, chic and, like, handsome and manly,
Yeah.
But it fits, like, the period, like, time spy setting really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just, like, the character design on that show is really solid.
Agreed. And overall, that's another reason why I'm sorry, it's superior.
Yeah, I mean,
in this
that was easy victory. All right, so the next one might be a little bit more of a debate. We'll see. So we have Rias Gremory from High School DD versus Ryuu Leon from Danmachi.
I can't tell. Sam has a type. It's either busty women or elf girls. Just so you know.
Or both. What about the busty elves of the world?
There's no such thing.
In hentai, there is. Actually, what?
Bahan Echo?
I actually have not watched that one. I was thinking something else.
It's the one on High Dive where she wants to fuck the cat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. I don't want to see it.
You'll get full nipple.
Yeah, I don't know if I need to see full nipple if she's trying to fuck a cat.
It's everything you want. Busty elf girl.
Anyway, so we've got busty girl Rias versus like elf girl Ryuu. Discuss.
I mean,
I have to pick which one's better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what?
I'd say Ryuu.
I think Ryuu, like, overall is like a better character, obviously. And
I mean, I saw the last arc, so I know what she goes through, and it just has a better story.
Well, okay, yeah, Rias is more on here because she's like an iconic waifu, and as far as like ecchi titty anime goes, like she's a decent character.
I was gonna say I was gonna go with Rias, but that's also because
you're not as familiar with Danmachi.
Yeah, that, but also I'm aside from the ecchi stuff, like overall as just a character who grows up with a noble family, has this kind of reputation to uphold. She's actually a pretty decent leader amongst her fellow classmates.
And she puts up with a lot of Issei's shit.
Yeah, but I mean, not just that, like, she has, for me, it's more the chemistry with the other characters. Like, she picks who she's using for a reason. She's a lot more calculating than people probably later on to believe. They just look at her and they go, oh, boobies. And
yeah, if we were going like pure like waifu character design, like she'd do pretty well.
And I like her design overall.
Yeah, she looks really good. Though I will say my favorite girl in High School DD was always Akeno because like the priestess outfit. Anyway,
if you haven't realized, Sarah is a type.
If you haven't realized, I like the cat girl.
Wait, who's the cat girl? I don't even remember her.
Usually, I think we both said that. But like, what? Yeah.
Oh, right. Neko. Girl Neko is...
Yeah.
Little black cat.
Honeko is her name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like Rias, like as far as like ecchi shows go, is a pretty good character, and she's got a great design.
Yes.
But Ryuu, I think, just for any show, has a really she's a really good character.
Visually, because because I haven't really watched the series much, and just looking at how her appearance is, I enjoy it. I like it. But yeah, I think for me, it's more so just like who I know more of, and that's why I chose Rias. Like, again, I didn't base it off of the ecchi stuff. I based it off of like she's a really well designed character. She looks really good in like multiple outfits because she's always kind of changing stuff up.
Yeah.
Or without outfits, like most of the show goes.
Yeah, that too.
What? My clothes have been all ripped off.
I swear to God, FBI, do not hunt us down.
She's technically Satan, so it's okay.
Yes, right. But just even though she's proud of her family name, she also doesn't look at anyone else of a lower class as any less than.
Yeah.
So she is sympathetic to other people. She's very empathetic, and I think she's a pretty good leader. As far as like her team, she chooses them for a reason, and she's not just like some cold calculating.
Right, and she's also not just like a titty character like so many of those shows have.
Yeah, she's not just a pretty face. Yeah. So that's why I take the edge on that. But again, I might be biased because that's really the only series I've seen.
I do recommend watching Danmachi.
Yeah, Caesar told
I thought you
me.
were going to say High School DE. I'm like, I don't know about that.
No.
Binged that one ASAN, and it was...
I binged that when I was like a horny, lonely college student, and I don't think I need to watch
We
it again.
binged that in a room full of like 7 people.
That's not super awkward.
All together.
Yeah. It really wasn't. Well, it wasn't that awkward for me.
I guess if you're all like drunk weebs, then it's probably fine.
Well, yeah.
It was on as background, and then we all just kind of like watched it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it was on.
Okay, but like I do think you would like Danmachi, just in general. But like Ryu's arc is like I would say the best in the show.
Danmachi's a harem anime.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's pretty good for a harem anime.
It has good lore if you like ancient gods and stuff.
And it's like, okay, so there are some shows that have like, take your pick of all the waifus. Like they have like a bunch of different, good ones to choose from. And Danmachi has like several good ones.
Yeah, like Hestia. She's Bestia.
No, Ryu is the best. That's why she's on here.
But Ryu doesn't rhyme with Bestia.
Okay, fair. I can't beat that logic. All right, but I think
We're gonna have to redo this whole bracket
So-
now.
The
Bestia
I
girl.
chose
Oh no.
Ryu is Ryu has a very, very compelling backstory once you get into it.
Yeah.
And you learn why she's so cold in like the first couple of seasons and then starts to open up
Yeah.
after like season 4 when you learn her entire backstory and why she wants to stay non-combative, but she has to because she's clutch. She clutches pretty much all the
She
main
cares
things.
for her friends,
Yeah.
and she's like very powerful, and she just had tragic circumstances. So I think Caesar and I are voting for her.
Yeah.
So she moves forward.
Take that, Rias.
Yep. Well, she did take it. So next.
Episode 8, no 6 apparently.
Oh my god. Okay, so next we have a really kind of weird matchup. So we have Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop versus Myne from Ascendance of a Bookworm. Because they're very, very different, but they're both really good characters.
Yeah.
So I'll start about Faye because like I'm the big Bebop fan here. So it's like when you first meet Faye, she's like typical like femme fatale. She has a really badass scene. And then you slowly realize that she's absolutely hopeless and kind of a moron and has like gambling addiction and is a deeply flawed character with an awesome backstory. So it's like as the show goes on, it's like all about breaking that femme fatale archetype and learning more about her and how she's just a broken person trying to deal with all of her problems and figure out how to live her life and sort of failing at it. So she's just a great character all around.
Yeah, very relatable.
Yeah, especially as you become an adult, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And all of that crippling debt.
yeah, that's me. Mine is like I couldn't pull off that outfit to save my life. Like,
Very Kill Bill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it came out before Kill Bill, so Kill Bill was early 2000s. This was late 90s.
well, the femme fatale archetype. I think
Yeah.
I was talking about,
But yeah, she's got a really like simple but like effective character design, and she's more on like the sexy side. You do see her in different outfits, and it's pretty well designed because all of Bebop is. So she kind of gets the edge there. But then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Myne.
Cute. Literally just a cute girl.
She's a
That's
cute
her-
little kid.
That's her archetype.
She's
Cute
very
girl.
plain, but it's for her. It is all about the character.
yeah, I would say. But when I feel like that with a lot of our characters in our bracket is they're gonna have very basic design.
Yeah, mine's a
And-
couple.
Yeah,
For the most part. Like Rias is one.
Yeah.
but yeah, mine is definitely one of those where she's a cute little girl wearing a basic.
Yeah, she's also poor in the fantasy world. So she's
Right.
wearing
Yeah.
like poor people garment.
Right.
Even
I
though
will
she's
say-
not poor.
The one thing about her design, or actually two things. So she like has a hair stick that she kind of invents, gets someone to make for her. And that's how like it kind of differentiates her from everyone else because she's the only one who does that because it's like a modern Japanese thing that she brings into the fantasy world.
Mhm.
And then when she invents shampoo, her hair, along with everyone else's who use it, becomes shiny, and you can compare that to the dull color of everyone else, and it's just a cool detail.
Yeah. I was gonna mention stuff like that. Like, but these characters are, both Myne and Faye, are resourceful in their own environment. So, like I do give points to Faye at least far as like, she's a femme fatale. She uses her body, even though she doesn't like being desired specifically. But she knows she can, the way she's dressed, like her design, it's like she's using her sex appeal, but at the same time, it's practical because when she has to run away from something, it's not holding her up. Mine, again, as you mentioned, where the details, small basic details, like making shampoo. Now her hair looks shinier compared to everyone else. She's got a hair stick. Like, some people would be like, oh, that's just kind of all right.
And
But-
I think the world building in Ascendance is really good. It's probably one of the better for the whole isekai genre.
Yeah, it's really in
And I think they did it best where she uses her knowledge of modern day tech and stuff to the best of her ability in a way that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
They show her doing the stuff or getting the material.
It takes her like 10 episodes to make paper.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole big thing, and you really like feel that achievement. It's not like some bullshit power fantasy isekai by like the third episode. He's got like a fucking like printing press and is just, or like the shitty online shopper isekai that we've been watching.
Yeah, he just buys what he needs.
Yeah.
That's it. He
It's
doesn't
just
have to
like
do
Amazon
anything.
in another world.
Yeah, I've been advised not to watch that one because it's not.
It's really stupid, but it's kind of fun. But
So,
this one is really smart.
That guy also fucks cats. I don't know what's with this season.
Yeah, what's with the
People are-
cat fucking?
No, where people are just like fucking animals, but it's weird.
I was like, a plus is a plus, I suppose. Just
Yeah, but okay. So you know how on like the furry scale, you've got like at the very like end, you've got like Holo who has like tails and ears, and that's it. And then like at the very end, you've got like the anthro furries.
yeah.
It's like this is much closer to the
To
anthro
anthro.
furries. It's like they've got like human head and figure, but they're covered in fur, and it's just like rough.
Like I don't understand. They wear clothes and then they take a bath at the end of like every episode, and they're just naked because they're
Yeah.
furry.
Yeah, it's
I don't get it.
it's a weird show. It's kind of stupid, but it's also kind of funny.
I just want to see when he's gonna get the mech. Honestly, that's what I'm watching.
I thought that was just for like
opening?
the opening. I don't think it. I don't I don't know, because it's like you can't buy a mech because they don't actually exist. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah.
So like Myne is actually like good and like it makes sense.
I vote Myne.
I would say I'm leaning on Myne only because I feel there's more to her character.
I like Descendants. I didn't really watch Bebop,
You did.
and I like Descendants.
And for me, it's there's that nostalgia factor for Faye, but I feel like yes, it's relatable as an adult. Running away from debt, trying to make money to appease those debts, and then get into more debt.
Well,
because of our vices. But for Myne, I think with her, it's like she has memories of her previous life, so maybe she's got that extra edge, but she's trying to utilize the knowledge that she has to her benefit, not just for herself, even though she considers herself a selfish person, which Faye I know can be like that sometimes too.
Yeah.
But Myne actually is trying to benefit those around her as well.
I mean, I get it. I like her. I like both of them a lot. I would go for Faye just because, Bebop is my favorite show.
Yeah.
But I totally understand choosing Myne. So
That's
like
not true.
Myne
Mine.
wins.
Yeah.
No, I do like Myne. I really like the Silence of a Bookworm. It's not really an anime I would have watched, but I fell in love with the show because I like the world building.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Sam, I would have probably not gotten into it at first anyways, because again, as many of the times I get manga recommendations, it's usually through Sam, and then if it's anime recommendations, it's usually from Caesar.
Yeah. Anyway, so highly recommend both of them, obviously. If most people have heard of Bebop, but like if you have not watched Descendants of a Bookworm, you should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people claimed the season it was in that it was a sleeper.
Yeah.
That was the sleeper of the season.
It's like I didn't watch it until I think Mother's Basement did a recommendation video on it and was like, oh, this sounds really good.
Even though I told you it was good.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw that before you watched it.
No,
honestly,
impossible. I watched it right when it dropped.
Both are good. I would say Bebop is for its own separate reasons, though. Like if you're not really into isekai and you want some kind of like cool sci-fi series,
Yes.
Like yeah,
I could do my own like whole like episode on Bebop, like
and the music score.
yes.
But if we
The
were,
opening.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the music score in general, the series is really good. But we're not basing our bracket off of that.
Yeah,
We're just
it's
basing it off
so
of
as
girls.
so Myne wins this round.
Yeah.
All right, next up, this is probably going to be a pretty quick one. Oh, okay.
you wanna take-
Yeah.
Funny break.
All right, post piss break, we are back.
Pre-piss break.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Currently pissing.
right there under the table. Okay,
My hydro
so
flask.
the next round is probably going to be a pretty quick one. So it's Emul from Shangri-La Frontier versus Katarina from the Villainess anime.
Well, one the bunny.
Yes.
That's it. It's a bunny.
That's as much as I knew.
Well, it's like, okay, so Emul is an NPC in SLF, and Sunraku gets her by like doing a specific questy thing, and she becomes kind of like a sidekick, and their chemistry overall is just really cute, and the voice actors in Japanese are actually married in real life, which is, yeah, that's kind of cute.
Would you like to know what my notes say for Emul?
Sure.
A literal bunny furry bait.
She does have a human form.
That's what my notes says.
Was it? I've seen because again, I haven't actually watched the series, so I will probably be biased, but I've seen that. Yeah, she's got like this little like gray or white bunny.
She's a white bunny,
and like in her human form, she has like pink hair or something like that.
Yeah, she's.
I mean, she's basically a play on the
White Rabbit from
White
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Because she even has a pocket watch when like he first chases after her. I will say like she starts out as like a really basic mascot character, but then like really grows into like an important, fun part of the show. Like their comedic chemistry is just really good. And
even though she's an NPC in a video game, she has like crazy good personality.
Yeah, it's to the point where like I kind of have a theory where some of the SLF NPCs are just actual actors that the company's paying.
I wouldn't go that far. I think it's just severely high-end AI.
Either or, like, she actually does become a character that you care about.
Okay.
Yeah, and unlike other video games, it's stated that if she dies, that's it. She's gone.
Yeah.
The NPC is gone forever.
So it's like there is the very real stakes of that in the show.
So Sunraku goes and she's like, I don't want to take Emul with me. It seems super dangerous. You stay home. And she's like, no, I want to go. I love you. And he's like,
And
here's
yeah,
some
she's
carrots.
like his wife that stays home.
She's like, here's some carrots. And then she's like, all right, you're good. You can go.
There's like one short that happens after an episode, and he's like, I wonder what she does when I'm not there. And then she's like cleaning up like she's a housewife.
It's actually kind of cute.
Yeah. So she is like a good, cute little character. And then on the opposite, we have Katarina Clays from Next Life as a Villainess. All flags lead to doom.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Bakarina, because she is dense as a neutron star.
Yeah, she is. Like, it's a way it's charming.
It is.
And I give the point for her. Just, I mean, I also just enjoy like isekais, like reincarnation isekais. And her character just being like I was reborn into this character that usually has a really bad ending.
Mhm.
Let's not have that happen to me.
Yeah.
And by doing that, though, the effect is now you've got people liking you.
It's
Simple life,
it's
but
like-
you do the thing that makes people notice you.
she's like dumb charming, and she like her gravity as a neutron star pulls in all the other characters. Like she's got a full reverse harem, and it's like one of the only bisexual harems in anime.
Yeah,
It's got like men and women in it.
yeah, that's very true. And it's not just like the typical like all men, all beautiful boys or something like that. Like
They're all nobles.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, it's not just like I'm trying to think of like Oran High School Host Club, where it's just
we'll get to that later.
all type archetypes of beautiful boys, so to speak. And this one, you get a couple of girls.
Yeah, it's not just Bishonen, it's Bishoujo too.
I have a really hard differentiating this one from the other one because it's the exact same plot points.
It is.
It gets repetitive.
It's one of those where it's like it was one of the more like generic villainous isekai, but it got the most popular and it got the anime first. I will say it's one of my favorites, just because like Katarina herself is so funny.
Very charismatic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she does this thing where she has like a court inside her head with all the different versions of herself. And it's like
herself.
Yeah, I love that. And her solution immediately to her death flags is like, I'm gonna learn how to farm and like just go off to the country and fuck off there.
I think that's my favorite aspect of a character. It's like shit's going wrong. Flee the country.
It's like I get that.
It's like fight or flight.
Relatable.
It's like, well, I guess this is it for me. I'm out.
It's like her only magical ability is like earth magic, and then she can create like a little bump in the earth, and that's it. So it's like, and she does have it's not the most complex character design, but within the wider show, like it's like memorable as opposed to like the other characters. Like you can differentiate between them easily. It's memorable, and she's cute.
Yes. And I would say, like, at least, you see her main dress, like the white and blue dress. It shows that she is,
She's
a noble class, but it's not so obnoxious where you see some of them where they're like giving into a like skirts that can't get through a door. Like it's not like that at all.
And
when you're trying to shoplift from Costco.
Yeah.
One of the good aspects of her character is almost everyone that she interacts with knew her when she was a spoiled little bratty kid before she got reincarnated.
Yeah.
So her being more of a humble Japanese schoolgirl really helped her character.
Yeah.
Bring everyone else in. Because they're like, you used to be a bitch, and now you're like not a bitch who farms sometimes.
Yeah.
I immediately love you because of that.
And it's kind of like, oh, like you you've kind of subdued yourself a little bit. You seem approachable now.
Yeah, well, she's got that also like the otome thing where it's like the male lead is like, oh, interesting.
Oh god, yeah.
She's interesting to me. That's like totally like a trope in that subgenre. Like Angie and I could talk about this a lot.
You're interesting.
It's like as soon as
Nice.
oh my god, yeah.
In the world, she's supposed to be the bad girl
Yes.
who dies. That's literally why it's named that way.
Destruction flags.
So the good girl kind of gets jealous, and then it's a whole.
Well, actually, in this one, the good girl falls in love with her.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm conflating the two then.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
they
other
came out,
one,
like,
the good
pretty
girl
much,
gets
they came
jealous.
out season after season, or like a season apart or so.
I think it was like a year apart, but
So
pretty close, yeah. But I would say I'd probably vote for Katarina over Emul, even though I do like Emul a lot.
Yeah.
For me, it's Katarina.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, so the next round is like more classic versus current. So we've got Misty from Pokemon versus Makima from Chainsaw Man.
all right, I'm gonna set my vote in right now. Misty's 12. I vote Misty.
FBI, open up.
I didn't watch Chainsaw Man, so all I can go
I
off
thought you did watch some of it.
I watched episode 1, hated the CGI, never saw it again.
It gets better as it goes on.
You say that, and yet here I am, not
I
seeing
remember when it first came out, and like one of the first things that because I love the manga. I love the artwork. I think it's
I'm actually wearing a shirt with a panel from the manga. It's the dead astronauts. Like it's one of the coolest panels in the entire manga.
That is actually kind of a cool picture.
Yeah. It's like the introduction of the Darkness Devil, and they're like literally in hell when it happens, and it's just like this total nonsense that's like batshit crazy.
You're speaking Japanese to me. I don't know what the hell you just said.
But it's maybe I'll put it like in this section of the video so people can see it. But like the art in Chainsaw Man's fucking awesome.
The art I've seen is good.
Yeah, no, it's very
just
good.
that episode 1 was bad.
But to Sam's point, like when we were talking about, because Sam and I were like, we've like read the manga, it's really good, excited for the anime, and then she's like, all right, I'll watch it, and then it's like after episode 1, he goes, fuck that shit. I'm not gonna watch this. It's got CGI in it. I'm like, all right.
Like, okay, the CGI in the first episode is a little wonky, but it does get better as it goes on.
Yeah.
And like the rest of it is still really good. So, okay. So Misty, obviously, like the classic, like, one of the first like anime characters we ever saw in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
As a 33-year. I know Misty, just nostalgia.
Also, we were like 7 when it came out.
So
6 or 7.
Misty was older than me.
So it's okay, guys.
It's like, okay, so I'm trying to like actually remember her character. I remember her.
Yeah. That's a character. She's a bitch.
Dub Misty did not give a fuck.
She's a bitch and she hates bugs. That's her whole character.
Yeah. But okay, so there's more to Misty besides that. So yes, she is. But also, she grew up as the youngest of sisters, which is like the 4th sister.
And pretty sister.
She was not the pretty one.
I totally forgot this was a thing until just now. This is like memories being unlocked right now.
Like a lot of her development is the fact that like she comes off as a big sister within the group with Brock and Ash, but reality is she's very much like a lone wolf because she was always excluded by her family. She was the youngest, so her parents didn't care much about her. They already had 3 beautiful daughters.
Her sisters didn't care about her.
Her sisters didn't care about her.
They pretty much said, "Oh, you want to leave? You don't want to do your gym leader stuff? All right, leave." They didn't really care.
Yeah. And the only times like she would go back was they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go on a trip and do stuff, so we need someone to take care of the gym. So we're gonna need you to like come back."
Yeah.
Thanks. And that's pretty much. I mean, that's kind of her whole concept is like this is the only way.
Does she really have character development as the series goes on? I don't even really remember.
Because her English voice actor passed away.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was her character development. She had that sense of independence because she was excluded from her family. So, like, for her...
So she cried when she left Ash?
Yeah, because...
This was so long ago.
Yeah.
I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, like she made it made it for a little bit of an emotional scene when she left because she genuinely was like, these guys became my family.
Mhm.
And
There was the whole found family before.
yeah.
That was a trope.
Yeah, before it became a thing where it's like I'm having to go back
And leave my friends.
and leave my friends. And of course, Ash is like, "Oh, your bike is fixed. Well, I guess you don't have to follow me around to buy you a bike." And at that point, she's like, "Oh, I could have very well easily left at any time,
Yeah.
but I kind of genuinely enjoy being with you guys."
Yeah.
And so, like, it made it for it to be like, "Oh, the feels."
And you probably don't know, but she comes back every now and then in the newer seasons.
Is she still like a gym leader? Or?
Yeah.
She's still a gym leader. One cool aspect is when she came back in the Sun and Moon. Yeah, the Sun and Moon series is she was the gym leader, and they actually gave her original outfit from the games. Which, I mean, if you know, you know. But I just thought that was a cool little tidbit.
Cool. And
so did Brock. Brock also got his original shirtless look from the video games.
But even like in her
rock hard abs
original anime design, like it was practical. She was just
she was a 12-year-old girl in short shorts and a tank top.
Yeah. But I mean, also swimsuit, technically swimsuit underneath because she's a water type. You don't want to go battling people in soggy clothes all day.
Of course.
Personally. But wet socks suck.
Yes, they do.
But I'm kind of with Caesar on having the edge with Misty.
It's a nostalgic thing.
It's like, okay, so I'll at least talk about Makima a little bit. Makima, when you first meet her, she's like sexy and mysterious, and she's like pretty openly manipulating Denji into like doing what she wants, just to like.
How could she be an antagonist?
Is she the one that?
Well, you think
jerks him off?
No, that's Asa. You don't meet her until the second half of the manga.
Do you know about that? He gets jerked off in the anime, in the manga, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's why Sam likes this.
Anyway, so like Makima is like sexy and mysterious, and then like shit starts hitting the fan, and then she starts to get like legitimately kind of scary as a character, and you're like, what the fuck is going on with her? And so she's really compelling as like powerful and cool she is, but also like people were like, please step on me, Makima. That was a huge meme when it was coming out. I
mean, it's still kind of a huge thing. You go to conventions, guys are like on all fours wolfing, like.
Yeah, there's that.
And I mean, to be fair, she also makes, Denji her pet.
Literally, yes.
Literally.
He is like a dog devil. I know he's a chainsaw devil.
Yeah, but Pochita is a dog.
Yeah. So, and those are all pretty good points. She is a very compelling character, very mysterious. I feel like, though, there's not that much with, like, I don't feel like I get as much of a complex story, though.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of weird because she's a, spoilers if you haven't, like, read or watched Chainsaw Man, you can skip ahead a bit. She is a devil, but you see multiple incarnations of her. But so it's like, I think Makima is a great like waifu character and probably one of my favorite girls in Chainsaw Man. I think Reze might still be my favorite, but she hasn't gotten there in the anime.
In terms of waifus in this bracket, that one, Makima, not Misty. But in terms of my choice, it's Misty.
I get it. You get the nostalgia of Misty, and you're not big on Chainsaw Man.
And so again, I keep watching Pokemon, so I've seen Misty more currently than I've seen Makima.
And like you've seen her growth over time. With Makima, I don't know how far the anime has gone with her development.
So it's like the manga. Like part 1, we're not very far. Like, as far as the anime goes, because they only did 12 episodes, and you don't see a ton of her character. You just get.
I can watch 12 episodes.
Yeah,
I can stomach through that.
It's only 12. And there's some really badass action and some like really great comedy and some decent fan servicey moments.
Is it in CGI?
No, most of it's not.
Yeah.
Some of it is, but like most of it's
The parts
not.
that matter, I don't care. Like the action stuff, that's fine. But the whole episode being CGI, I was like, ugh.
It's like
But that's me. That's
you also haven't met Power yet, and Power's one of the funniest
I
characters.
met Power. She has no tits. She pads her bra.
Yeah, but she's funny
And
as
she's
fuck.
like a dead body or something.
Sort of, technically. It's one of those like we're getting pretty off tangent, and I might cut this later, but in Chainsaw Man, fiends are dead bodies that are reanimated by devils, so they're technically alive, even though they were dead before. Like they're not zombies; they're alive, but they're made from corpses.
I would say for Makima, so she's technically a necessary evil, or at least that's kind of how it
Sort
seems to
of,
be
yeah.
established.
Because she's on like the Japanese government's side, like she works for
Yeah.
the devil hunters, but she has her own motives, and she's incredibly like vicious and ruthless. Like she just like casually murders several people in like a really cool, fucked up way.
Yeah. And like again, even though she had like for me it's like chemistry with everyone else though is like it's like with Denji it's like you're just a dog. But for Pochita you can tell like there's that bond there.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'd say she's a good character, but she doesn't quite have the depth just because Chainsaw Man moves so fast.
Mm.
Like Fujimoto, all of his manga, like the pacing is like really fast.
And I'm thinking maybe that's why I'm leaning on Misty more. And like it's not necessarily just a nostalgia point, although part of it is kind of a factor for me, but Misty was actually for a kids show. She was a very compelling character.
I remember liking Misty as a kid.
And
back when she was older than me.
Back then, she was also, for media's sake, for cartoon's sake, she was a strong female character for a show of that time.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was relatable to me because I'm the youngest with my brother and I, but I tend to have had the big sister energy. So like for me, it was like, oh, that's relatable.
Also, like that she had like always, berated Brock for being a perf. That was always a funny thing.
Keeping him in check, yeah.
And when James flashed her his nice big juicy tits, in that episode that got banned.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, he's like groping his chest, and it's just like gymnast.
Yeah, because they were entering a beauty contest.
Yeah.
Man,
there's a lot of weird shit in the original series.
She's like 12, and it's like, all right, she's already got body dysmorphia because she's got beautiful sisters. Now there's this like one random dude with purple hair coming here, just dude, like, look at these juicy nuts.
Well, I mean, I have the English version of the Pokemon comic books where the dude drew her like she was 16.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing a video about someone talking about that manga.
So
it's technically separate canon from the rest.
I have it, but I have the American version where they had to. They had to.
Where they toned it down.
Unsexy the 12-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she was 12 in that version.
She was 12 or 13.
Oh,
yeah.
She's always been 12.
Yeah.
Just like
I thought they like changed like the characters and the ages in that one. I don't know. Either way. So like Misty wins this round over Makima. All right. Yeah. Next up, we have Rukia from Bleach versus Momo from Dandadan. I gotta say, out the gate, like I like Rukia, but Momo.
See, I love Rukia because I saw season 2.
I haven't made it there yet.
And season 2 is like all about Rukia.
I would say I'm kind of going through with like just having season kind of like 1 knowledge with Rukia, but
season 1 Rukia is.
Yeah, she's like she's just kind of there, and like she's got that kind of.
Like all these characters are all kind of just bitches.
Yeah, like everyone in the show is kind of like that. But she's kind of got that like fish out of water thing where like she's not from like Japan, so she's just kind of getting used to living there, which is kind of funny. I'm sure she gets better as the series goes on. I just haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, I can tell. So season 2, she doesn't do anything in season 2. She's the plot for season 2. After season 1, she basically my choice is Rukia. Let me explain why.
But keep going. You're fine.
So she comes to Japan because she's on patrol. That's her whole thing. She's on patrol that night. Ichigo is so overwhelmingly strong that it throws off all her senses.
Mhm.
She goes and fights the Hollow and loses, which makes no sense because she's like the third strongest in her division. She loses, gives up her powers, and that's why she's stuck in that like weird zone where she can't do anything except say, "Go kill that thing over there."
Well, I mean, wasn't it technically she was trying to give half of her power to Ichigo, and then he just absorbed more than half. So then she's like,
He pretty much
Greedy bitch.
yeah. So
And
it's like, well, I guess I'm stuck here.
there's reasons for that are
Plot reasons.
Yeah, plot reasons that are like 700 chapters way later.
Of course.
So I choose Rukia because in season 2, she kind of does that thing where we were talking about Bakurina. Shit finally hit the fan. She's like, I got to get the fuck out of here before everyone around me gets caught up in it. Well, everyone around her gets caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ichigo pretty much dies. She gets kidnapped and sent for execution back in her spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
So Ichigo pretty much says, she's our friend. She made friends with all of Ichigo's friends. So like, she's our friend. We're gonna go fuck off to the Stolthus Island and just wreck shit to save Rukia. So Rukia doesn't do anything in season 2, but season 2 happens because of Rukia.
Mm-hmm.
And season 2 is peak Bleach. Like that's what you want to see, and then the rest.
I know, but I guess like that doesn't. If it's not her, like
it's about her.
It's about her, but like it's not something like she's actually doing. I don't know. It's like that's something that bothers me in a lot of shonen, where it's like the female characters just kind of get sidelined.
Then you would hate the Wekamundo arc, which is the exact same thing for Orihime.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like that's just something that bothers me about a lot of shonen.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You're just like, you're there for the tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she doesn't do anything, but you see her gain hope because Ichigo and her friends, like she can feel them. They have observation hockey, essentially.
Okay.
So she can feel that her friends are there fighting for her, and she can feel as each one of her friends
So
eventually
she's just like glorified moral support.
well, she's locked in prison, but you know she can feel as all of her
She's a
friends
plot
are
device.
slowly, yeah.
That doesn't bode well for her being a good
You're
character.
the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
So
MacGuffin with tits.
And then there's the one good character that his name is Gin, who's just a dick. He's like, I'll save you. He's like, nah, just kidding. I just want to give you hope.
God. So okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
say before
But
you.
Yeah.
Bleach is also like one of my favorite animes, so I'm super biased.
I did always find it funny with her. It's like she never can find her clothes, like clothes in her size. So
Yeah, she had to steal his sister's clothes, and that was a plot point.
Ichigo's
Yeah,
sister's
Yuzu.
clothes. Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
Karin.
Yeah. Okay. So Momo, I think, is actually a great character. Like in Dandadan. So she's very active and she's like actually doing a lot of, moving the plot forward.
Yeah, she's not just the girl character in the group. She's actually a good girl character.
Yes.
In the group.
And it's
Agreed.
like she's multi-layered because like she's a gyaru and she like obviously cares about her appearance, but she's not just like, a preppy girl that doesn't care about other stuff and only her appearance. She actually does care about her friends and she grows to care about Okarun, and she has her own like insecurities and like tendencies, and she's really well thought out, and her relationship with Okarun is really like detailed and layered and has real development, not even just in the anime, which only covers a little bit, but also really as the manga goes on.
But I agree with you with that one, just because again, in I think it's more prevalent in older shonen series where it's the female characters just kind of there to be there because they need at least a
Like
girl for the
Sakura.
quota. Yeah. And in this case,
Sakura.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, like Ino.
Yeah. Or even like Botan in Yu Yu Hakusho, or any of the female characters in Hunter x Hunter.
Look at Tenten. She did nothing ever.
I totally forgot Tenten existed until just now.
She did one good thing, and that's it.
Or
Just prove the
basically
point.
any of the female characters in DBZ.
Yeah.
You have an issue with Chi-Chi? And Bulma?
I mean,
I mean,
Launch?
I would say probably out of all of them, maybe
That's it.
Bulma's probably the
That's
most.
it.
yeah,
It's a
Bulma,
fucking really-
Bulma does some stuff, but like not.
But anyways, but
Anyway, but it's like Momo is like an integral part of Dandadan, and she's like emotional and funny and smart, and like has great chemistry with all the rest of the characters.
like not just her friends, but even like as you said, like Fokarun, like
Yeah,
she's even willing to be like by his side in
Mhm.
the case of danger. It's especially when you see like a first episode where it's just like this
yeah.
kid's, like,
The
a weirdo,
whole thing
you
starts
know?
because she stops him from getting bullied.
Mhm.
It's like-
for no reason, really.
Yeah.
Just out of the kindness of her.
It's like she's
Okay.
having a really shitty day because she broke up with her jackass boyfriend, and then she just
hit her.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, she like tried to punch him first. Like she's absolutely like a tough girl. So she's obsessed with Ken Takakura, who is a classic tough guy Japanese actor,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's even part of it because she grew up with her grandmother, who's obviously like the hot, sexy older woman, which is kind of weird, but like
Yeah,
one
the
of
gilf.
the guilt, basically. But really, like if you actually grew up in real life with your grandmother, you'd grow up watching older stuff, which is why she's obsessed with Ken Takakura, because he was
True.
big in the 50s and 60s. So it's like just kind of a cool plot point. And then obviously Okarun's real name is Ken Takakura, and she's like, she can't handle that. Like every single time the name gets mentioned, she's like, no.
But I mean, like that, I think is a part of a charming factor for Momo because again, everyone has like that stereotypes with Yarus, like
Mhm.
they're self-centered. They only think about their appearance.
Mhm.
They only care about things that are popular. And she's here like, no, she's actually into weird stuff.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, I thought
gets
so.
into like occult stuff after she starts hanging out with Okarun. Like she takes a genuine interest in it.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fact that when they're going to fight Turbo Granny, she has the Gyaru thing of where she's like, she changes into her fashionable clothes, and she's like, for Gyaru's clothing is armor,
Yeah.
which is just like a really cool like line, and like the character design is really good too. Like the outfits, like she wears multiple outfits, and they're all really cool.
And
I like Momo. I'm not saying that I don't like Momo. I just like Rukia more. Because, again, it's also a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
which is totally fine.
I
yeah.
like Momo. I like her character. I like that. Again, she actually does shit in her show.
Yeah.
She's not just the girl.
Hmm.
Like, she has to control Okarun from transforming into Turbo Granny and has to watch him poop, which is weird. But, you know.
Yeah, there's so much stuff in that show that's just fucking weird but
Thank you for being
hilarious.
hard. Great.
Yeah.
So you're gonna cut this, but I remember Ken Takakura was the inspiration for Sakazuki because
Really?
all three of the admirals were based off of old Japanese
Huh,
actors.
no shit.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I vote for Momo. Caesar votes for not Misty, Rukia.
I also vote for Misty.
Yes.
And I vote for Momo.
All right, 2-1. Momo wins.
See, if it was Matsumoto, he'd be like, "Oh shit, big titty bleach girl."
I mean, Yoruichi has big titties, but like.
Yoruichi dark chocolate.
I'm totally leaving that in.
Hey, Yoruichi is a sexual awakening for many old men in my generation of watching anime.
All right. Okay, next matchup we got Misato from Evangelion,
Mm.
and then Frieren.
Mm.
So Misato's kind of like the classic, like, older character. I thought-
Yeah.
the Asan character in Evangelion, which is also a classic, which I don't love, but it's pretty good. And then Frieren, who, I'm obviously going to vote for.
Yeah, you're biased with elf girls.
I
Yes.
didn't even watch Ava because there's just so much about it that I'm like, where do I start?
You just start at the main series and then you watch End of Evangelion. That's it.
All I know is that Shinji needs to get in the fucking mecha, and that's all I know about it.
Get in the robot. Misato, I will say, because it's like you've got the main girls, you've got Asuka and Rei, and they kind of like were sort of the prototype for Tsunderes and Kuderes.
Mm-hmm. The blue-haired one and the red-haired one.
Yeah. And it's like they're all right. I've never like loved them. I like Misato better just because she's like the older woman. She's like an adult.
Again, he's very biased with what he chose.
These are my notes.
Yes, I'm very biased.
Tell Shinji to get in the fucking Ava. Those are my notes.
She drinks beer. She has a pet penguin. She's funny, but she has this like subplot where she's kind of like spying on the secret agency that has the robots and all this stuff. Like she's important to the plot and she is a good character. It's been a long time since I've watched Ava. But obviously Frieren wins for me.
Yeah, Frieren took over. I mean, Frieren's number one on my anime list for a reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the show's so fucking good.
Well, it's not only that, it's unlike Misato's like character as far as like chemistry with her team. I mean, she has pretty decent chemistry with them, but Frieren just gets that edge for me because it's two parties. You've got her original group, which there's a lot of flashback and development from there, and then her current group. And what I like about Frieren is just there is that concept of the forever or the immortal character, forever living or immortal character. What do they do with their lives when they disband with their original party and move on? Yeah,
and there's a ton of development and depth for her.
Yeah, and you know, Misato again, nostalgia for me in a way, but I don't feel she has as much of an edge.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy win for Frieren.
Frieren is a lot of people like to claim that Frieren is the Lord of the Rings of anime. Like it's just so good in terms of.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, like it's one of my favorite manga too. Like I was just begging for an adaptation for years. Like I started reading it. Like I think there were only like 10 chapters out, so I've been reading it for a long time.
What did my notes say? My notes say racist.
Oh yes, she is racist against demons.
Yeah,
so you love her.
Demons,
Possibly autistic. In terms of the way that
a lot of people read
emotions.
her as autistic.
Yeah. A lot of people do say that just because of her
trouble with expressing herself and communicating.
I wouldn't necessarily say that she's autistic.
Right.
Yes, in a way, but I think also it's a way of her coping with the fact that she is, you know, she does live longer than the average.
It's not even just hoping, it's just straight up the way she experiences things.
Yeah.
And
to her it's a second that passes that she's not going to remember, but to everyone else it's like that was like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean I can see that, you know, being a thing for just characters in general, stuff like that. Like so for me it's
like I wouldn't tell anyone they're wrong for reading it that way, but I don't think it's like, you know, necessarily what it is.
Don't get me wrong.
People are gonna read it that way, especially people that have autism, and they're gonna more
will gravitate to it.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, growing up with, you know, sibling who's kind of has that same thing with social cues as well. So like I get it. Like he would probably see it as
like people read Laios from Delicious in Dungeon as autistic too, and it's like I kind of get that, even if the character isn't necessarily
say that. Yeah.
I think the voice actor pretty much outright said that. Yeah, I play him as autistic.
Which, you know,
because he's from Smosh. The voice actor's from Smosh.
Really, I didn't know that. Because I knew ProZD is Senshi.
Yeah.
And
he's Damien Haas from Smosh.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But just going back to that, like I wouldn't outright be like, no, this character is not autistic. I looked at it at a just different perspective as of an individual who's like, hey, you guys are gonna be gone by the time I turn around. So you know, what's the point of making that bond? But what I do like about Frieren is as time goes on, she realizes that, oh, I kind of missed out on a lot of things because I kept people at arm's length. And like, even though it's, hindsight's 2020,
Yeah, it really hit her hard when she's like, "Oh shit, this dude's dead."
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the first episode with Himmel, like that is an emotional gut punch.
What would
Well,
Himmel
actually,
do?
yeah. What would what would Himmel the hero do? Has become like a real thing in Japan.
Yeah.
It's like I love that it has
There's
that kind of
a
reach.
news article or someone like saved someone from getting mugged and said
That's what
he
Himmel
said.
the hero
Yeah.
would do. Yeah. Also, like in I think it's the third episode when Hyder dies, that one hit me pretty hard too. Especially because he raised Fern.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, my heart. Because it's like he starts off as, an alcoholic priest who's, Frieren calls him the corrupt priest.
Yeah.
And then he grows into like a sweet, kind old man who raises Fern, and then he dies, and you're like, no. And
But he's also seen a side of him that Fern didn't.
yeah.
So
like he knows that she has trouble like picking up on cues. Where he's like, "Hey, can you like solve this grimoire?"
Yep.
And also kind of like train this girl.
Yeah. He lies to her to get her to
he
do
deceives
that.
her because she doesn't know any better.
Right. I think one of the series' greatest strength is how it goes back to its original cast and how they inform the present.
Yeah.
It's not like Demon Slayer where it's like, oh, this person's about to die. Here's a flashback of them, so you feel bad.
Mhm.
It's more like actually really well thought out and has like a ton of depth in the character. So Frieren easily wins.
Plus, Frieren's a cute elf girl.
Yes, Frieren is an adorable, cute little elf. There are other characters in the show that also have like really good designs and are like cute or hot. Like you've got Ubel, who is the armpit girl, who is like sexy and crazy yandere. And then you've got Fern, obviously, who's like, sweet and also has big boobs. And then Flamma, who's like more of like the mature woman. And Serie, who's also a cute elf.
I saw a YouTube video of a German going through all the names. Like, this is dumb.
I mean, it's like it takes a Japanese naming scheme, applies it to German, which doesn't work because they don't use object names. So it does sound kind of stupid to a native speaker, but to Japanese, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Plus, like, the names do have meaning. Like, Frieren means cold or frozen, which fits her personality.
Yeah. And even her design, too. Just wanted to go back really quick. So we're talking about, you're talking about, like, the other characters and their designs. Frieren's very, like, basic. Like, it's still, that little fantasy setting to it, but, it's just a, like, white robe. With like her little like cape cloak, I guess you would call it. It's very basic, but it goes with her very well. So you still get the sense of like, oh, she's a little bit on the ethereal side, but at the same time, that like kind of cold grayish kind of color, it reflects her like
Also,
distinct
same voice actor as
personality.
Anya in Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a great range for a voice actress. Like Frieren is like slow and like kind of like deep voice, and then Anya's like super high pitched and kiddish. And I was like, oh my god, they're the same.
And even her English voice actress isn't that bad either. It still has like that.
Yeah, her voice is pretty good. Ubel's voice in the English dub, like I re-listened to it because I was rewatching because I needed background noise. Like her English voice is actually pretty sexy. She's got like the like deeper smoky voice, and I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, but for me, I even like to the English voice, like because again, it still gives that like neutral delivery, but there's a hint of like personality to it.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it, and when she's complaining, or when she's like joking, or when she's like actually like sad, like I think both Japanese and English do it pretty well.
But to your point too, the Japanese voice actress, she's got a pretty good range.
Yeah, I think a lot of Japanese voice actresses in particular just have like really great range, and you just don't realize it until you start looking at how many different characters they do. Hello again, this is post-production Sam. We actually went way longer than we initially planned. We were going into a lot of depth for all of the characters, so we decided to cut this episode in half. Technically, this is only the first half of round one, and the second half and the finals will be posted probably next week. All right, see you then.